Well, here we are back in the saddle again on the Tahoe project. New used motor is in place. Transmission's bolted on. I'm doing the underside right now, hooking the exhaust back up, front drive shaft, putting the starter in. I'm trying to remember what everything needs to be plugged in from the bottom, and we'll take it off the stands, get it down on the ground, and start putting the top back together, transferring all the stuff from the table to the engine, and hopefully we'll have her running. No real big hurdles putting the new used engine back in. So it took us a half hour to get it in there and get the two bottom transmission bolts in. Had some problems putting the torque converter bolts back in. I'm thinking one of them torque converter bolts, the one I was probably struggling with to begin with, was cross-threaded in there because it went back in real tight, but got it back in. Got all the transmission bolts except for one on or in, so got them tightened down. Like I said, we'll do the starter, button everything up on the bottom. I've already put a new oil filter on it so I can put oil in it. Then I'm going to let it down on the ground and continue on with putting everything back where it's supposed to go. If I can remember back that far, that'll be the big challenge. All right, here we are underneath the Tahoe. This bolt and the flywheel you're looking at is the torque converter bolt that was causing us all the problems. I got her all back in. Need to button up a few things. Exhaust needs to be hooked up. Electrical things. Put the starter back in the box. Hook the exhaust up there. Drive shaft. And then we can move back up to the top side. But that's the access hole that you have on a 4L60E to take torque converter bolts out. Like I said earlier, that 3/4 mid-length socket really made a difference there. You can see that the bolt we're looking at is kind of chewed up a little bit. That's because I had to reuse the old bolt. I'm thinking that pad on the torque converter is a little cross-threaded, and this one actually went in better than the new one, so I'm going to use it. We'll get this done and we'll move to the top. Continuing on with Project Tahoe, been renamed Project because it seems like something's going wrong with it all the time. Bottom end all buttoned up, exhaust hooked up, drive shaft, transmission, torque converter turns, starters installed, wires are all hooked up. Mrs. Landshark been working back here on a little rust issue that we're just gonna kind of clean up and touch up. I'm gonna go over the plastic that's on it. Got a guy sourced a bumper for me. It's chrome, but it'll probably be all right. This is the list of stuff left to do. We're gonna clean the air conditioning condenser and the radiator out so that we can put everything back together. It's got a lot of South Dakota stuck in it. Both of them do, so we're gonna be blowing that out. Some new plug wires to put on. Start putting the intake and stuff in. Hopefully we'll have this bad boy up and running before too long. If you follow us on Instagram, the Landshark channel, you'll notice that when I let the air out of the front tires so I didn't have to stretch so far to get at everything. Old Jake, he loved that air going out of the tires, so go look at that on Instagram. He's quite the ham. I'm gonna have to go through and clean this up a little bit. See what we got to look at there. Alternator looks okay. Hoses are okay. Got to put the fan back on. I'll do a little cleaning on that now that my air built back up. I think that's the first time I've ever ran that air compressor that low. Make sure everything's nice and clean there before I put the gaskets on and plop it on top of the 5.3. Like I said, hopefully I got a bumper for this. It's going to be chrome, but I wasn't looking forward to trying to massage that back into shape. Try and get the grill on. That'll be interesting. but we can get it running. We can get it out of here. We can get it out of here. We can get Mrs. Landshark's 68 in and put that 400 in it. All right, got the intake plenum. Blew it off. Kind of cleaned it up with some carbon choke cleaner. Not going to get all extravagant on it. Just kind of cleaning out some of the black crud that comes with it. Got a new PCV valve. New PCV valve, we're going to put that in. But we know that one's fresh because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get to. It's way in the back part of the motor there. It seemed like a good time to do that versus later on in life. Took the intake gaskets off it. Like this thing ran when we drove it in, so not real worried about having any issues with the intake and whatnot. But I got new gaskets I'm going to put in there. I just kind of wanted to go through, spray things down a little bit, clean it up before I go in for the night, and yeah, it'll look a little bit better. I don't know if it'll perform much better, but give that carb cleaner time to dissipate off of that. Maybe clean some of that up. Sprayed the injectors already. Just gave them a little shot to clean the ends up on it. Other than that, getting close to calling her good for the night. Come back out in the morning and hit it. Hopefully we'll have this running tomorrow. The other engine that I bought also had that intake plenum on it. So if I need anything off it, I have that. Coil packs, I kind of saved everything off it. These worthless pieces of garbage are going to stay right there. I'm going to put actual hose clamps on it, so I'm going to have to fight with that along the road if you ever have a problem. There's probably some reasoning behind that some engineer decided was a good idea, but if you don't have the right tool to squeeze them properly, you just end up pinching your fingers or getting frustrated with it. So plug wires are there ready to go in. I'm going to clean up that mass airflow sensor, check the air filter and stuff. Get everything hooked up tomorrow. Try and figure out where this gobbledygook of wires goes, which probably isn't going to be too hard. It follows pretty close along the top of the channel through the intake and whatnot. Cross a few things off of here. My old Freiburger list is the way to go. That way you remember that you did everything before you think about it. I had the same list for the bottom to make sure I got everything, so I don't have to hopefully crawl back underneath there and hook up something that I forgot. I have to put these inner wheel wells back in. That'll be the last thing I do before I put the hood on. Make sure everything runs right, everything's working right. Probably did not have to take them inner wheel wells out. It made access to these transmission bolts on this side quite a bit easier. The exhaust manifold, I'd already changed the gaskets and stuff on that out on the floor, but it made it a little easier to reach them back two transmission bolts. Helped me a little bit with the starter when I was having issues with that. Still have to slap the AC in here. This front section is on. Alternator can go on after I get the intake on. Kind of working from the bottom to the top so that I don't have to. I have the clearest path to everything that I can possibly do to begin with. So that's it for tonight. Go in and have a cold snack. Start again tomorrow. Get this air conditioning compressor to fall back into place. I'm going to put some plug wires in. drop some bolts that I might need. Always a good idea. It's always nice when they fall all the way to the ground. Worst part is, I don't know what that bolt is for. I'm hoping I'll end up short one, and then I will know. Got so excited about putting the intake in, we forgot to show you how we did it. We just slid it in there. Went right in. Like it was supposed to. You see how pretty her nails are?
Well, not that one.
Look at the nails she works on trucks with. Look at mine. See, I just do the ends of mine. It's kind of an acrylic grease kind of thing I do.
Ribs came up. Oh, I want ribs.
Quit getting distracted by ribs.
Sorry, I know. I was like, oh, ribs and the cream corn and what else was it? Smashed potatoes. Oh, I shouldn't even look at this. It's meals at home over the years. Oh, that bake we had at Thanksgiving last year, a couple years. Oh, prime rib oh, that pan
Focus,
pizza.
woman.
Pan pizza. Oh, pot stickers.
Torque specs.
Oh, damn.
LS motor. Intake. Plenum. My God. Although them pot stickers are really good. We should start a YouTube channel that's just Land Shark's Food Emporium.
That's how
And we'll just, hey, we're working on a car, but guess what else? We're making ribs, yeah, because that's usually what we're doing, people. We just don't show the food. Maybe we'll do that. Okay, folks, this plug-in right here that we've been stressing out over for the better part of an hour, trying to figure out where it hooks in at, hooks into the hood. This goes to the light. There's a ground spot for that, hooks in right here. We don't need to worry about that right now. Get out.
Done.
So we can finally put this project to bed. We're gonna put the hood on it. We've got a new grill, got a bumper coming. That's probably the last time, hopefully, you'll ever see this thing on our YouTube channel, unless it's hauling parts for something else that we really like to play with. As always, thanks for following our channel. Subscribe, like the videos, set the notifications. Never forget, don't be scared to do stuff that you've never done before. And one other thing, don't ever forget to drive your shit. Thanks for following. We'll see ya. Project Uh-Oh, as we've started calling it, is in the bag. Everything mounted. Got a couple, well, I've probably driven it for 2 days now. A new grill in. We're going to work on that bumper a little bit. Got some sweet headlights that we'll put in. That'll be one thing. Them headlights were busted from hitting the deer, so we're gonna work on making it look a little nicer. They're blacked out. Runs good. I know y'all have heard that tick when we started it up. That's that torque converter bolt that it's hitting some casting on the back of the motor by the feel of it. A tick isn't within the motor itself. It has something to do with that torque converter bolt. So we'll be tackling that when I can get it up on the hoist. But yeah, this daily driver's done. Got it out of the garage so we can start working on Mrs. Landshark 68. We're going to take the motor that's got the noise out of it, put the motor that makes noise in it. We'll get that done before it gets too late in the season. We should be good to go. Thanks for following along. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. Don't forget, drive your shit.